Hi, I'm Jenny Taylor Martin, a director here at Edgar Casey's A.R.E. Today I'm speaking with the author of Make Up Your Mind to Be Happy, Josie Varga. Josie, it's so nice to have you here with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Josie, you grew up with a disability. Can you tell us what that was like for you?
I grew up with cerebral palsy. Cerebral palsy is a non-progressive condition that causes muscular and motor impairment. Very, very difficult. I mean, I spent time in a wheelchair, spent time walking with leg braces, and as I grew older, I became increasingly angry, increasingly bitter. But I think it wasn't so much because of the disability, but it was because of the way people treated me as a result of the disability. I mean, people made fun of me, people picked on me, and I was too young at the time to understand that happiness is not something that can be taken away from you.
You point out in your book that happiness is our true nature. What do you mean by that?
What I mean by that is basically happiness is from the inside out, not the outside in. It has everything to do with what's going on the inside and nothing to do with what's going on the outside. And unfortunately, people don't realize that. People are influenced by what's going on in the world. For instance, I let people define me, and it took me a long time to realize that I shouldn't do that. People are influenced with, the I'll be happy when scenario. I'll be happy when I get the next car. I'll be happy when I get the next job. But what happens when you reach that point? What happens when you do get the next car? What happens when you do get the next job? It's like a vicious cycle, because when you get there, you realize that you're no happier than you were before. So that's what I mean. Happiness is our true nature. Think of it this way. When we're born, we don't know anger. We don't know resentment. We don't know jealousy. These are all learned traits. Okay? So my book is about making people realize that they were truly happy the whole time. That it's about bringing happiness to the surface once again.
What made you write Make Up Your Mind to Be Happy?
For years, because of my disability, people would come up to me and say, Josie, you have such a positive attitude. How do you do that? Well, first off, being happy does not mean being happy 100% of the time. Okay? What I do in my case is I allow myself time to be angry, allow myself time to be upset, and then I let it go. So my book is about helping people out there hopefully come to some of the realizations that I came to in my life. It's about helping them to look inward for happiness and stop looking outward.
You advise your readers not to pursue happiness. What do you mean by that?
Happiness is, the pursuit of happiness is quite a paradox, because you can't pursue happiness. You can't chase after happiness. You can't buy happiness, okay? Happiness is within you already. So you can't pursue happiness. That's the biggest paradox of all time.
In your book, you write about keeping your journal. Why do you think that's important?
The journal in the book is perhaps one of the most important parts, all right? And because the journal is actually the positive thoughts journal. And what I mean by that is I encourage readers to wake up every morning and jot down a positive thought. And what that does is it trains our mind to eventually think positive. I didn't wake up one morning and say, okay world, now Josie Varga is going to be happy. It doesn't work that way. Everybody knows it doesn't work that way. It's a gradual process. So eventually, when you write these positive thoughts in a journal, you eventually train your mind to think positive. But it goes hand in hand with the tips in the book as well. Okay, like for example, by themselves, some of the tips might seem trivial. But over time, like I said, they train your mind to think positive. For instance, seek out spirit boosters. And what I mean by that is seek out the people in your life that make you feel good about yourself. How many times are people stuck in a bad relationship? They're They're stuck in an abusive relationship. They're stuck with people who put them down and don't make them feel good. Even friendships. You know, you're with a friend who doesn't make you feel good anymore. Well, I got news for you. Just like positive energy is contagious, negative energy is contagious. So we need to weed out what I call the soul suckers. We need to weed out the soul suckers in our life and seek out the positive people.
What advice do you give people who are struggling to find their happiness?
Basically, I would say stop looking within. Accept yourself for who you are. Understand that the more you search for happiness, the further you're going to draw yourself from it. You know, you're not going to find it. I mean, that was a hard lesson for me to learn growing up. Can you imagine growing up in a wheelchair, wearing leg braces? I was miserable. I was mad at the world. And I didn't get much help from society either. But then it finally hit me, you know what? If I don't make me happy, if I don't accept me for who I am, then no one else will. And that's what people have to understand. You know, when people say, oh, you know, I'm looking for Mr. Right, and oh, he makes me so happy. No, you make you happy. You make you happy. And that's what people have to understand. Stop putting the pressure on everybody else, and stop putting the pressure on yourself, because you are the only one that can make yourself happy.
Josie, it's been such a pleasure to have you here with us. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Make Up Your Mind to Be Happy is published by Fourth Dimension Press, an imprint of A.R.E. Press, and is available at arecatalog.com.